Welcome to Kryptonite, the fight game. This is a video on the breakdown of David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant. First of all, thank you for the support on our initial breakdown and prediction video, which you should most definitely watch. And please don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can see more boxing related content just like this one. In this video, let's go through how Caleb Plant defeats David Benavidez and what he needs to bring to the table in order to shine on Saturday night. Now sure, Benavidez has got many attributes like power, intensity and pace, which arguably makes this Caleb Plant's hardest fight yet. However, Caleb Plant has also got some strengths that could potentially give David Benavidez some real problems, and now we will look into these in more detail. So here are 3 reasons why Caleb Plant wins this fight. Number 1. Speed and timing. We've seen in the past multiple times, speed beats power, and Caleb Plant has proved this especially in his last fight against Anthony Dirrell, where he perfectly timed that left hook and head combination, leaving everyone in shock. Plant has improved significantly since his loss to Canelo, and it seems he's gotten better at picking and choosing when to throw his shots, which means when he lands big. However, as we have seen in the past, David Benavidez has always been the power puncher. But if Caleb Plant gets to that punch quicker and counterpunches Benavidez, he could be the one to walk out Saturday night as the number 1 contender for the super middleweight championship against Canelo Alvarez. Now moving on to number 2, controlling the pace of the fight. To do this, Caleb Plant needs to not give any time for Benavidez to get comfortable and start throwing his combinations, which he's really accurate with. We have seen in the past, David Benavidez, he starts everything off from his jab. It's that jab that sets up his combination, which is something Plant needs to stay away from as he may struggle with them. So for Plant to stop this from happening, he needs to keep the pressure on, not give time for Benavidez to regroup and rethink his strategy. And no, I don't mean Plant should consistently throw hands from the first round without any breaks. He just needs to time his jabs and not fight on the back foot. He needs to fight forward and in the center of the ring, because Benavidez always does a really good job in fights by establishing himself and gaining momentum by pushing his volume and his jab forward. And Plant cannot allow him to get started quickly, because allowing Benavidez to get started with his volume and trying to come back from it is not the way to beat him. Because quite frankly, I don't think Plant and Benavidez have the same style of output. Benavidez is going to throw a ton and land a couple, whereas Plant is going to be precise with his shots. He does have a decent amount of output, but it is all thrown with the intent to knock his opponent out. So the main point of number 2 is, Benavidez is the volume puncher, and in order for him to get comfortable, he needs to build momentum from the beginning of the fight. And this is what Plant needs to prevent from happening by establishing himself in the center of the ring, not taking steps back, and not letting Benavidez be the one to push him to the back of the rope so he can start throwing his combination punches. So controlling the pace of the fight is point number 2. Now let's move on to the final point. Point number 3, work ethic. When it comes down to who wants it more, I believe that goes to Caleb Plant. Benavidez has been his own worst enemy. In the past, his own actions have led him to being stripped from the WBC title on 2 separate occasions, which is when he tested positive for cocaine and when he did not make the required weight for his fight against Rover Alexis Angelo, which just shows how unprofessional and careless Benavidez can be. This is why I believe Plant's work ethic, discipline and motivation is what will carry him through this fight, especially in the championship rounds when it's the most tiring and it all comes down to who wants it more. The bad blood between the 2 opponents is real, and it started when David Benavidez brought Caleb Plant's daughter into all of this, which is truly a low blow knowing that Plant's daughter had passed away at a really young age, and he has dedicated the sport to his daughter.
Started bringing up, my daughter Aaliyah's name, and, even liking pictures of social media, me and my daughter Aaliyah in the hospital bed, just different things like that.
But Plant also had things to say about Benavidez, in which he brought up how he got stripped from the WBC due to his unprofessionalism. Plant has had bad blood in the past with his previous opponents, such as Anthony Dirrell, but has shown in that fight that no matter what, he sticks to the game plan and does not start fighting emotionally, which is what fighters sometimes do. And in fact, we may see this from Benavidez, as it seemed that he was the one more emotional during the press conference, as he got up many times in an attempt to fight Plant. So to sum this point up, Plant's work ethic and his ability to stick to the game plan no matter what is something that will carry him through this fight, especially in the later rounds when it all comes down to who wants it more. Now, one thing to mention is that sure, Caleb Plant has got many strengths, but this Saturday, David Benavidez is no joke. He may have shown to be unprofessional at times, but when he steps in the ring, he has one mission in mind, and that is to knock out his opponent. So for Plant, this is something to be careful of, especially as we have seen in the past. Plant, he sometimes leaves himself exposed on his right, which is an opening for the left hook. And for Benavidez, we know all he needs is one clear opening to end the night. And if Plant does not protect himself by leaving himself exposed, Benavidez will take advantage and walk out as the #1 contender for the current super middleweight champion, Canelo Alvarez. So Caleb Plant needs to be careful by keeping his chin tucked and his hands higher to protect himself. So guys, that's it for this video. These are the 3 things Caleb Plant needs to do to win this fight. Now, I'm not saying that Plant is going to win, because Benavidez also brings many strengths and problems that will work against Plant. For example, his volume, his pace, and his ability to adapt to different fighting styles to overcome his opponents. It's like both of their strengths start to balance each other, and this is what makes this each opponent's hardest fight yet. So comment below, who do you think is going to win this fight and how? Thanks for watching, guys.